on, everybody, man? We back on another episode of the Player Circle, man. I got a special guest, a guy that I had the opportunity to coach for a while, man. We used to get it in over the summer, and I made it my mission to make him quit every single summer, man. Make him throw up, do all that stuff. He played, from the Dallas area, man. Played ball at Garland High School, Southern Nazarene University. Man, we're happy to welcome back Trenton Smith, man. One of my old home players, man. So look, man, introduce yourself to everybody. Give some insights on who you are, man, and whatnot, and then we'll roll from there.
All right, man. Like you said, my name is Trenton Smith. I'm from Dallas, Texas, kind of Raleigh, Texas. I went to Garland High School. And then I ended up going to Southern Nazarene University up here in Oklahoma City. And I played there for about 5 years because of COVID. Started playing and starting as a true freshman, and then just, kept kind of banging it out from there. And then now I'm in a physical therapy school at Oklahoma City University right now. So that kind of sums it up, man.
Hey, man, I love it. Now, look, I started this deal because, man, I thought about all the players that I had that came to the program. I got my Coach's Corner podcast where I interview all the college guys I know. And then I was like, you know what, man? Let me get these players on here to get a real spiel, right?
Yeah.
So, sometimes coaches want to be fake, man. They want to get up there and like, well, you got to do this, that, and yeah, bump that. Let me talk to the guys who are in it and who currently just finished. You're gonna tell high school guys the truth, what the experience is like, all that stuff. So let's start like this, man. Let's take it back to the high school days, all right, man. So we at Garland High. We getting recruited. We doing all those things. What was the high school experience like? What would you do different in the high school experience or recruiting experience? And what would you, if you go back in time and tell yourself something, what would those things be?
Man, loaded question, but hey, I love it. Man, high school for me, it started off really well and then kind of faltered towards the end. So I got moved up to varsity like my sophomore year and kind of in the middle. And so everything was going smooth from there. I was getting, a few looks here and there, whatever, like just getting my name out there. And then junior year, I end up tearing my ACL. And I was like, man, so like your junior year, that's your big, that's the main year you kind of get your name out there, get some credibility as a player and stuff. So that was pretty tough. So I was out that year.
Yeah.
And then as that happened, we had a coaching change because we had Jeff Jordan. He ended up coaching at Kansas State and stuff like that. So he left us, and we had a whole new coaching staff. Nobody really, knew about us. And then I came on my senior year, had another injury, AC joint separation, and then just, just try to ball out when I could. Through the recruiting process, since the coaching staff was, relatively new, I was kind of on my own at that point. You know what I'm saying? So it's like everything I'm trying to do, I'm trying to go to these camps, trying to go just got an offer at this point. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm just trying to go play ball at this point. But I knew around what the level that I could play was at. And my dad, he kind of helped me, stay realistic for like my body size and stuff. Like we knew I had the skill, but at that point I was about 145 soaking wet. So it's like you gotta pass the eye test at some point.
Right. And so then how did that transition, man? So you going through your senior year and you're trying to get the looks, you're trying to get the offers, you hit the camps, you did all that, right? So how did Southern Nazarene come about, man? Who was recruiting you? What was that process like in the recruiting front?
Man, my coach, Dustin Hayter, he's the head coach at SNU now. I think I had went through the recruiting platform of like NCSA, something like that. And it's basically where you can construct your own kind of recruiting profile and send it out to a whole bunch of different colleges. So you could, it has all your information, your GPA, SAT, ACT scores, your and then your physical tests like 40, broad jump, bench, all that, and then you have your film stuff too. So at that point I had kind of hired I had went through NCSA and kind of hired like a recruiting coordinator, whatever. He was helping me send out all my stuff. And so I was just I would send out like, it was like maybe 30 a day or something like that. And, it was, I'll get some responses back. And at first, of course I'm gonna start D1 down, but it's just, all I kept hearing was like, your size. I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll start going down a little bit lower. And then Dustin Hayter, he ended up reaching out to me, and he's like, man, he said something. He's like, man, I love the way you run. And then in my mind, I'm like, what does that mean? At that point, I was a quarterback, and I transitioned to DB, and I was like, what does that mean? And so I was like, let me be realistic. I get, to the next level, I'm probably not gonna be able to see over the line. So I was like, something got to change. And so we kind of just, kicked it off from there. Yeah.
Man, all right. So you go to Southern Nazarene. Okay. So what was the expectations like when you got there, right? So you said you played as a freshman. So I know a little something about that. I was able to play as a freshman too. I get all that. All right. So what was that transition like from high school to college? Okay, so you come in there, you fresh, you really don't know what the heck going on. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to figure this thing out. What was that transition like?
Man, it could be a little scary sometimes. You're going a whole nother state away. Don't really know nobody. It's just, kind of you on your own. I remember I bawled my eyes out the day my, parents kind of left me, went back to Texas. I was like, golly, like I'm really out here on my own. So, but man, the expectation was to play immediately. I didn't care about size or anything. I had been putting in work with you. Like you said, you try to kill me off every single training session. So I was like, man, I'm gonna make this hard work, all this effort, this time pay off. So I went in there with the expectation to do whatever I needed to get on the field. So that's what I did.
Hey man. So look, so when we talk about playing, right? So we talked about, high school experience going in to college. What would you tell guys, man, that are in high school? They're kind of in your situation. They're like, man, everybody's ruling me out because of the size, this, that, and the other. What would be the thing? Let's put it like this way. What would be the thing you would tell yourself? Now that you've been through it, now that you know what this thing is like, now that you've been recruited, you've been signed, what would you go tell your old 17, 18-year-old self before you got into college, you're looking to get recruited? What would be those things you would tell people?
Man, I'll probably tell you, on the first note, I'll probably say, man, once you get to the next level, once you get there, high school does not matter. It don't matter what you did, what accolades you had. First team this, y'all won state. It don't matter. Y'all at the same place. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because there's dudes who had one state back in Texas and did all this, but I'm like, we at the same spot. So, and then just kind of using some humility in that sense and recognizing where you're at and like being present in the moment and kind of discarding that because you're turning over a new leaf. Like everybody's at baseline at that point. And then the other thing would just be a little bit of what you taught me, just, get comfortable being uncomfortable because you're going to be uncomfortable the entire process, whether you doing drills, you competing, like it's going to be uncomfortable.
Every day.
You know what I'm saying?
Every day.
You gotta get used to that new skin and just go.
Man, all right. So look, so you played as a freshman. You had a successful career, man. I know a lot of people look down on the NAI level, right? They think that it's lower level football. They think guys can't play. Like, what would you say to the people who? It's a twofold question. What would you say to the people that think that the lower level has no ballers? What would you say to those people? And then also, what would be the things that would make you successful in college? Period. What are the pitfalls people need to look out for, and what are the things that make you successful in college? What would you say to those things?
Okay. Well, first, SCU is NCAA D2, so not too much. I'm like, because there's ball players at each level, but
thank you. At every level.
Yeah, man. At each level, it's really crazy. There's not that much like disparity between like skill level, maybe like size, yeah. But as far as like skill set, speed, it's relatively the same. It's just you really see it once you get to that level. It's like, okay, this dude didn't have that much exposure, or like me, like I just got injured like my last 2 years of high school, basically. So it's really crazy just seeing people's journeys and stuff like that. But like as far as the skill and the speed, it's pretty similar because there's a lot of D1 dudes who drop down to like my we do, we competing at a high level.
Yep. And then like you go in there, you play as a freshman, man, and you want to be successful in everything that you do. What are the things that set you up for success? Like what you've seen guys come and fall. You've seen guys who, like you said, were state champions and they ain't even playing on the field. Like
Right.
what makes you successful in college? What makes you successful into the how do you transition into college? But then what makes you successful and keeps you successful when you get on the field?
Um, well, you have to come in understanding that at that level, everyone's fast, everyone's
Yeah.
strong. At that point,
Yeah.
like, okay, how can I mentally process what's happening faster? So it becomes more of a mental aspect in that perspective. So I would say really understanding the game, and you helped me a lot with that. Just understanding like the intricacies of like
Yeah.
your position and then
Yeah.
the bigger picture overall, what's going on. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Especially as a DB, if linemen's getting to the second, third level, it's like, okay, what's going on? Like, I can't just go to
Yep.
my fit. I gotta understand what's happening at the foundational level, So
Yep.
definitely
Yep.
that.
And then like when you get into like the possible pitfalls, man. So we already know you on campus, man, for the first time. You got some girls out there, dog. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
what are the things that you've seen, man, with guys when they transition to college? When they get there, man, you see guys with all the potential in the world, guys who could play next level, all this other type stuff, and you see the downfall, man. What are the signs of the downfall? What are those downfalls that you would tell people to avoid?
Um, I would say some of those downfalls can just become getting sidetracked with, trying to get these women and stuff like that. My university, it was D2 kind of smaller campus. So it's like everybody knows everybody. So you get caught
Yeah.
up really quickly. So, I know that's a big difference on people who went to like Division 1 and stuff like you, where, you probably don't even see the same person each day. But us is like a glorified high school, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was definitely like not deemed a quote unquote college experience, you know what I'm saying, that you would typically have just kind of being at a smaller institution. But I would definitely say just um first off, just be yourself regardless of uh who's in your surrounding little bubble. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of influential people and you have to figure out who you are first, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
can't let that kind of discard your values or whatever you came in with and the goals that you came in with, because there's some guys, man, they come in, they're like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna play, and then once they see that they're not where they want to be on the depth chart, then everything is out. You know what I'm saying? They just kind of trying to target, go after these girls, and then they
Yeah.
ain't going to class, and it just, it's a domino
Snowball
effect at
effect.
that point, man.
Yep. Yep. Man, look. So I used to tell you all the time when you come out and train, I say, hey man, it's the job, bro.
Yeah,
And so like, so tell people, man, you gotta give everybody the notice. Like when we say this is a job, I think people don't really understand the time commitment. I don't think they understand how much time they really take away from you.
yeah.
Um, what is the life of a football player, man? Like, so when we talk about the job, of course, everybody wants to play. We understand this, that, and the other. But dog, what's that life like, man? What do people need to know? And what are they signing up for when they say, all right, man, I'm gonna sign this letter of intent to go play at this school? What are they signing up for? What's that life like?
Man, you sign up to a commitment not only to the program but to yourself, because you don't want to let yourself down doing this base level minimum work. You go to practice, you go to film, that's level 1. You trying to go to level 3, you got to put in the work on the weekends, at night. You
Yeah.
gotta study extra film. It's really a job like in focusing on your craft, because you want to be the best that you can physically and at a mental level,
Mm-hmm.
understanding the game. So man, I took it on like another class, you know what I'm saying? Because for your class, you go to class in person
Okay.
there, and then you go back on your own, you study, and then you have the test. So I was like, okay, let me kind of put it in that perspective. We got game day on Saturday. What do I need to do to prepare for this team?
Yep.
Before we get there, I don't want to go to the game and everything look brand new. So it's like, okay,
Yep.
let me
Yep.
get with a few guys. I'll get with like, some of my DBs, and we'll just go over the scheme and kind of break down whoever the star player was for that week. And then physically, I mean, during the off season, man, you got to grind. It's kind of the same thing. Like I'm
Yeah.
studying film and stuff during the off season, but physically, it's really almost like it's like an actual job. You can't really take no days off, even if
Nope.
you're sore or you're fatigued. You got to find some way, if you're doing like active recovery or something, you got to do something. Otherwise, you're gonna fall behind, man, and it comes quick. But you really have to put in an extra effort, because it's different from high school where you could just rely on talent, stuff like that. Everybody talented, you know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
you got to go in, and that's what really separates you is that hard work. I mean, it sounds really generic and and stuff like that, but it's the truth. That's the only thing that's going to separate you from these other guys who are fast, strong. I mean, you're going to see your prototype so many times when you go to fall
Yeah.
camp. You're
Yes,
like, he look
sir.
just like me. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Move like me, can real like, wait a minute, dog. Hold on.
Man,
And
hold on.
then y'all over here recruiting my replacement. Dog, what we doing?
Exactly. So
Uh-huh.
you got to
That's
do
what
what
it
you
is.
can to stay relevant.
Man, so look, so this is a twofold question. What all right, so you had the football experience.
Hmm.
What are the lessons that you learned though? All right, so this is gonna segue into another question, but what are the lessons that you learned from football, dog? And it's not necessarily just football, but man, you saw the business side. You saw how coaches would go out and recruit. And it's like, dog, the same way you recruited me, you're recruiting somebody to replace me. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like,
Mhm.
what are the lessons that you learned, man, that you have taken away from the game of football, and just from the college experience? Now that you've lived that, what are those things?
Man, my biggest thing, and my brother, he kind of helped me teach this to me, was to do continue to do what got you there. You know what I'm saying? Don't get there and then start changing up the way you play, start changing up your style
Yeah.
because you're trying to overcompensate, trying to be the guy, or whatever. Just continue doing what got
Yep.
you there. And you're gonna be good. Just continue to work hard. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Progress the way that you play, progress the way
Yep.
that you think, but keep the same style, because a lot of guys will come in and then they'll find their kind of, big brother or whatever. They're like, man, I want to play like him.
Mm-hmm.
Like him isn't what got you in this position. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
even when I got older, guys was like, yeah, man, I really like the way you play. I'm trying to play like you. I'm like, I appreciate that, but just continue doing your thing. You know what I'm saying? That's what
Right.
got you in this position in the
Yep.
first place. So
Yep.
that was kind of my biggest thing. I hope I answered your question, but
No, you
yeah,
did.
that was kind of my biggest thing, because especially you kind of fall, sometimes you can fall into this pitfall, and that's where college kind of becomes ruthless, because you get an injury or something. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, am I injured or am I hurt? So you gotta
Yeah.
make that distinction first. And at the next level, man, they're trying to, if you can't play, you almost deem worthless at some points. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
it's like, all right, let me try to stay relevant. I could probably give you like 80%. It's
Yep.
trying to get into that. So that's all.
So it's funny that made me ask another. Want to ask another question. How do you handle the mental side then? So man, like in one instance, you the greatest thing, man. We need you. We can't win a championship without you. The other thing, all right, well, hell, you ain't no good to us. You can't play. How do you handle the mental side, man? What do you tell people, dog? Like, how do you we've had them conversations with all the guys that have trained with us in the summers, man. And you start having those conversations with guys, you hear their story from this school, from that school, this experience, this coach let me down here. How does that mental, man, how does that weigh a toll on you? How do you overcome that?
Man, at the end of the day, you just gotta come back to know that you can only control what you can control. You know what I'm saying? You can control your effort, you can control how much hard work you put in, and you can
Mm-hmm.
control like what plays you make. You can't control if a coach puts you in what team or what group you're running with, if you on
Yeah.
first or second, you know what I'm saying? But you just gotta, basically, when my dad always tell me, what you said a lot too, you gotta stay ready so you ain't gotta get ready. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And you just have to have a baseline level of confidence, knowing who you are, because man, I've seen some guys lose their confidence after injury, or maybe
Yep.
the
Yep.
coach is faltering with them a little bit. And I mean, I'll be honest, I even struggled with it a bit too when I had like sprained my MCL or whatever, like my third year. And
Yep.
so I'm battling like, dang, am I hurt or am I injured? And I ended up playing, but
Mm-hmm.
it was good, but it wasn't good at a level that was like I thought was for me. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep. Yep. Uh-huh.
it's just trying to, but you got to remind yourself, you're like, okay, well, I know who I am, I know what kind of player I am, and I know what I bring to this team. You know what I'm saying? And just kind of, trying to go off of that, man. It's you got to know who you are and hold your values true, because like you said, you got so many prototypes. You got prototypes left and right. Your replacements basically. So if you're not confident
Yep.
intrinsically, within yourself, you're not gonna be confident on the field either.
Right. All right. So, man, we talked about the college experience, man. What So I also asked you about the lessons you learned. Now that you're transitioning out, all right, are you transitioning out? You're going into your second act, your next career. What lessons did you learn from football that you're now applying to the real world experience? What are those things, man, that taught you? Why is football so important to what you're doing now?
Man, whatever environment that you go to work in, I mean, there's gonna be difference of opinions. You know what I'm saying? Like on the football team, there's a variety of guys, a
Yes.
plethora, guys from everywhere throughout the nation. So you're gonna have differences in opinions,
Yep.
politics,
Yep.
religion,
Yep.
everything. So I think that really helped me kind of broaden my scope and just what I was exposed to. So just transitioning to the career I'm going to, like for physical therapy, like you're gonna be in a clinic or you're gonna be with a team and you're gonna have to get adjusted to different people. You know what I'm saying? Not
Yep.
everybody's gonna have the same perspective on life as you. Not everybody's gonna
Mhm.
be religious, not everybody's gonna, have
Yep.
those same principles and values that you probably had or held close
Mhm.
growing up with. So
Mhm.
understanding that everybody doesn't think like you, but still having the humility to bring yourself back down and be like, well, at the end of the day, I'm still gonna respect them. You know what I'm saying? And because they giving me respect too. And just trying to carry it out like that. Because uh I'll tell you this, it was a bit of culture shock going to college, Oklahoma City from Dallas. I'll tell you
Yep.
that. So
Yep. I can imagine. Imagine
yeah.
going from Dallas to College Station, bro.
Yeah.
I'm saying. What you mean? I know exactly what you're saying, man. Look,
Man.
here's the last question I'm gonna ask you, man. I know then I'm get up out of here because I know you gotta, man, do some things. You gotta get to work, all that. All right. You went through a lot of adversity. One thing that football is gonna teach you is gonna teach you adversity.
Oh
Because
yeah.
your ass is gonna go through it. It
Yeah.
is what it is. All right. So you got guys in the transfer portal that transfer left and right. You got high school athletes that want to skip. That want to go from school to school. Okay. Um, like in my world, like you have the 7-on-7 guys, for example, that want to hop from team to team. Man, being in the college world, all right, knowing what you know now, what would you tell guys about the word adversity? How would you apply it to high school kids, college kids, and now that you are working, um, um, I hate saying the real world. That drives me nuts. But that's the only thing I can think of right now. Now that you're working in the real world, how would you tell them to manage adversity? What would be that thing, man?
Man, for me, for me personally, for adversity, you just got to face it head on. Because, like you said, a lot of people they'll try to transfer, hop in that transfer portal quick. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes it's
Yeah.
just things in life that you need to overcome to become better and to become stronger.
Yeah.
Um, Shoot, even in college, we had a coaching change. One of our head coaches stepped down, and then that's when Dustin Hayter he got that position. but it's still like nothing's ever guaranteed, you know what I'm saying? And that I think that's scary for a lot of young players and even, you know, college players. Is like, okay, where can I go where I know I'm going to play instead of just playing where you at, you know what I'm saying? Climbing that depth chart, playing where you at and fighting through it instead of kind of running away from your problem. That's where I always kind of perceived it as like, okay, you trying to run away from the bigger issue. You know what I'm saying? You gonna transfer to college or, you know, go to another team or like 7-on-7. And then if the same thing happened, you still not playing, then what? You know what I'm saying? You gotta have some type of inward reflection, like, okay, am I actually doing putting in the amount of work that I need to put in? Or you know, am I actually understanding this game? Am I actually making the plays to get what, you know, what I'm asking for, which is most time, you know, PT time, you know, play time. Or you know, getting looked from institutions like scholarships, all that, you know, getting offers, stuff like that. So you got to have some type of reflection as well and be like, okay, you know, I did this, I did that, but in comparison to my team, like sometimes you do, you know, they say comparison to thief joy, but sometimes you do have to compare yourself to the next guy in your position. Like, I know you told me a few times, like, and even I thought this, I was like, okay, well, I had 12 tackles last game. This guy's had 12 tackles in the past 2 games. What's going on? Why he getting more playtime than me? You know what I'm saying? At the same time, it's like, okay, I've had 8 tackles in this last game, but then last 2 games, this guy's had about 20. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you kind of have to be realistic sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And what you bring to the table. Sometimes like, hey, I know in your case a lot. Sometimes you just better than do, but college and getting to the next level, sometimes it's politics. If somebody come in and they giving a recruit a full ride and stipend, NIL, and then you come in on a partial or you a walk on, but you're better than him. They still gonna try to give him more of a chance than you because they
every opportunity. They're gonna give him every opportunity to fail.
Yes, exactly.
And the reason why I want to bring it up, and I want to bring it up with all the guys that I talked to, because man, now that y'all have lived it, you kind of have a different understanding than what you were when you were 16, 17 years old. You know what I mean? And I want the guys that are in my program to hear from you. Be like, look, man, that's cool and everything, but I'm telling you right now, you're gonna have to face this shit head on.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to. You know what I'm saying? But look, man, you know, every time I talk to y'all, man, I can tell I'm getting old, man, because I'm like, look at these boys growing up right in front of me, man. They over there, man. They carrying on real conversations. But you know, I said, look at these jokers, man. You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, look, man, that's another episode of the Coach's Corner, man. We had our guy Trenton Smith on, one of the most athletically gifted guys I ever had. Great parents, great family, all that, man. But also is a testament that doesn't matter what level that you play on. Dogs are dogs, dudes are dudes, man. You got to be able to go through adverse situations, man, in order to find yourself on the other side to be successful. So, Trent, if you got any parting words, man, get that out now. And shoot, then we'll close it out, man, after you finish.
Man, thank you for, you know, the entire process of, you know, helping me grind it out, man. It wasn't easy. I know it wasn't easy being with me. I know. But, hey, I appreciate you. For any of the young bucks out there, man, I would have killed that opportunity to get with PPT Elite. If I had it during my high school, get that increased exposure. Like I said, I got injured, you know, my last 2 years of high school. So I think it really helped out. So, I mean, shoot, just look into it, man. Yeah. And just go with your gut. And then once you get to that next level, just remain confident, know who you are, know your values, know your goals, and just follow your intuition, man. Keep God first.
Love it, man. That's another episode of the Coach's Corner. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, man. We're going to have more content coming soon. Trent, I appreciate you, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, man.